Welcome everyone. This is the MasterClass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of experience in teaching and I would like to help dispel your doubts should you have any. Today we shall look at the chapter from the diary of Anne Frank written by Anne Frank. Anne Frank was born in 1929 in Germany. She was a Jewish girl. She died in 1945 during the Holocaust. She moved to Amsterdam to escape Nazi persecution, where her family was forced into hiding. It was here that Anne began to write in her diary. She lived in a secret apartment for 2 years before she was betrayed and handed over to the Nazis. She died in the concentration camp of typhus. She was just 15 years old. The only member of her family to survive was her father, Otto, who found her diary when he came back to his house. He published it after the war, and it quickly became one of the most important books about the Holocaust ever written. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to keep a diary, maybe a video diary today, a friend you can share your secrets and your thoughts with? Anne was something like that. She gives us her thoughts about keeping a diary. Why does she need to have a diary? She says paper has more patience than people. An old saying. It basically means that you can tell anything to paper and it is not going to contradict you. It is not going to say that you are wrong or you are right. It will just listen. It will allow you to do whatever you want at your own speed. She feels lonely. She wants a friend. She wants us to understand it's not like she doesn't have an elder sister who loves her, who she plays with. She has 2 loving parents. She has an extended family. She has around 30 friends. It's not like that there is no one that she can talk to. But she says there is no one that she is close to. That is why she decides to keep a diary and she names the diary Kitty. And she says that this will be my one true friend. First, Anne gives us her life story. We are told about her family. Her father, Otto, who married late in life. He was 36 when he married her mother, Edith, who was 25. Her sister Margot was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. She was born 3 years later on 12th June 1929. Where did she say? Frankfurt, till she was 4. Then her father and mother went to Holland. The sister Anne and the grandmother stayed back in Aachen until finally they themselves followed. First, Margot went to Holland in December, and in February, so did Anne, as a sort of birthday present for Margot. When she went to Amsterdam, she started school and she attended Montessori. Going up into different classes, she reached the 6th form, which was taught by Mrs. Q. Paris, the school principal. At the end of the year, both of them were tears at the thought of going on to other classes. That summer, 1941, her grandma fell ill and had to have an operation, which meant she could not celebrate her birthday. Grandma finally died in January 1942. She tells us that she has been unable to tell the rest of her family how much she loves her grandmother, how much she misses her. She had a birthday celebration in 1942 to make up for the last year, and here a candle was lit on behalf of her grandmother, just so that the child would feel that the grandmother was there with her. So the 4 of them, the parents and the 2 sisters, are doing remarkably well. And this is from where she begins to write in her diary, 20th June 1942. What is the first entry in her diary? She talks about her class. The students, her friends, are worried about who are going to be promoted and who are going to be kept back. In fact, a couple of boys are even taking bets. You're going to be kept back. No, I'm not. And the arguments go on. She and her friend, one tries to plead with them. She yells at them, but they don't listen. Anne says she is not worried about herself. She knows that her and the other girls in her class are going to do well and are going to pass. In fact, she feels more than 25% of her own class should be kept back. But who knows what the teacher feels. They might pass somebody because they feel like it, or they might keep back somebody just because they feel like it. There's only one subject she's a little worried about, and that is maths. They all try and keep on telling each other, don't worry, we'll go up into the next class, just be strong. Anne tells us she gets along well with all her teachers, except her maths teacher, Mr. Keesing. Why is that? Because Anne talks a lot. In fact, she talks so much that the teacher punishes her. Write an essay on a chatterbox. A chatterbox is a person who talks a lot. So she had finished her homework and she was wondering what to write. And she thought to herself, it's very easy to spread your handwriting across the page, to leave large gaps between words, just so that pages can be filled up. But she said, why not try and write something that the teacher would understand? So she puts forward an argument of why she should not stop talking. As per her argument, she says that her mother talks even more than she does, and therefore she cannot stop talking, because talking is an inherited trait, and one cannot go against genetics. The teacher, Mr. Keesing, had a good laugh, but when she continued talking, he gave her a second essay. In this one, he headlined The Incorrigible Chatterbox. In other words, somebody who will not stop talking no matter what is going to be told to her, no matter what punishment is given. She gave in this essay as well, and Mr. Keesing didn't find anything to complain about for the next 2 lessons. However, again, during the 3rd lesson, he was so angry with her that he asked her to start an essay that would be called Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Everyone laughed. Even Anne laughed, but she wondered what to write. It was time, she thought, to come up with something different, something new. Her friend suggested that she write a poem instead of an essay, and she thought to herself, yes, let's go for it. So if Mr. Keesing is trying to make a joke on me, let us make a poem so that the joke will be on him. She wrote a poem, and she herself found it beautiful. What was it about? It was about a mother duck and a father swan, and 3 baby ducklings. The 3 baby ducklings were so talkative that the father swan bit them to death with his beak. Mr. Keesing found this very funny. He read the poem to the class. He added his own comments where he thought suitable. He went to other classes where he repeated this. After that day, Mr. Keesing never assigned her any extra classwork, and she's been allowed to talk. In fact, even Mr. Keesing jokes a lot in class. Who are the characters? Anne Frank, who is a bright, talkative and thoughtful 13-year-old. She has a lovely sense of humor. You have Mr. Keesing, Anne's math teacher, who initially finds her talking annoying, but appreciates her creativity and humor. Anne's family, her sister Margot, her parents, Edith and Otto Frank, who are very supportive people. Her grandmother, whom she remembers with great love and affection. Certain classmates of hers are mentioned, like the girl with the initials or 2 other boys who quarrel among themselves. Sam, the girl who tells her to write in poetry. What are the settings? Amsterdam and Holland, where Anne's family has stayed after fleeing from Germany. Montessori School, where she studies, and the experiences that she has with her teachers and her classmates. And of course her home, where she writes her diary entries, where she does her homework, and where she reflects on her life. What are the literary devices used here? Firstly, personification. Anne names the diary Kitty. She talks to it as if it were her one real friend, and she continues to write letters to her. Metaphor. Paper has more patience than people, showing how paper never judges. You can write or you can say anything to it without a problem. There is irony. Anne writes funny essays about talking too much, turning what is supposed to be her punishment into something enjoyable, something fun. Dialogue. Conversations between Anne and her classmates. Conversations between her classmates. Quotes from her teacher and classmates, which bring the story to life. The first person narrative. The entire diary is written from Anne's point of view, which makes it very intimate, very personal, very real to us. What are the themes covered in this story? Loneliness and friendship. Anne feels lonely. She is surrounded by people who love her and finds a one true friend only through the diary. The theme of growing up. We see how a teenager grows up, how she deals with decisions, normal problems in school, friendships, and about how she finds her identity. Family relationships. The love and affection she feels for her sister, for her parents, the love and affection and grief that she feels for her grandmother who dies. Hope and optimism. Whatever challenges she might face, there is always hope, there is always optimism in the way Anne writes in her diary. Finally, the power of writing. It becomes Anne's way to express herself and to cope with her feelings. That's it then, the end of the lesson. I hope I have been of help. If I have, do remember to like, subscribe and share. Remember, there might be others who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.